Generally, there is a wide range of capacity in terms of capacity gaps when you talk of institutions in Africa, whether it be in East Africa or Southern Africa. And in the context of universities, there's lots of knowledge in terms of the science. And if you go down towards the farmers, there's also lots of knowledge. And then there's this big gap between the scientists and the farmers. So that's just one of the examples, like in a one way. And then there's also knowledge in terms of the different sciences, or in terms of social sciences, the climate science and the economic sciences. So we have this gap in terms of the vertical, and then we have the gap in terms of the farmers and the scientists and the politicians. It's a big web of interactions, and we need to sort of connect it together, which is not a simple task. It's very complicated. So there's not one answer to it that I can give for now. Yeah. We can talk of capacity in terms of human resources. We can talk of capacity in terms of technology. And if you look at most African institutions, we don't have the technology that's at par with the Western world. So that's a very big question as well. And then we can talk of capacity in terms of what I just said, in terms of human resources. We don't have people who are so much interested in the science, because the science is very complicated. I'll just give you an example. In terms of the GCMs, we have 23 or so GCMs that are produced in most parts of the continent except for Africa. So that can be narrowed down to we don't have the human resources or people who are too keen to do the climate modeling kind of studies, and we don't have the technology, we don't have the supercomputers like in the US where they have all the supercomputers. We don't have that, and that still comes back to what can we afford, or where do we put our priorities? If you look at the government in Africa now, they are not more interested in, but there are more other issues that are pressing than the climate modeling. If you go out and ask a farmer, like, what do you want? Or do you know what the climate modeling is? Or do you know what climate change is? They'll answer like, no, I've got problems today. Don't tell me about the future. I don't care what the model is telling me. So that also filters in how we think, how they teach the kids down there. Like, okay, there is modeling which can help us feed into in terms of virtually feed into the societies in a better way. So there's lack of capacity, and we really need to build up on that. And it all starts with the society. They have to understand what are the benefits of development in terms of technology, in terms of just the science itself, in terms of how we think and how we plan ahead, instead of just planning for tomorrow, but how do we plan 10, 20, and 30 years ahead, and how do these models help us to plan the year ahead.